Hello and welcome back to another episode of United We Stand, Divided We Podcast. I am Robert from just outside Nashville, Tennessee, in good old US of A, and my co-host.
And you already know my name's right below me. It's Lionel, and I am from Toronto, Canada. And
We have to get the Toronto pronunciation correct.
Toronto, Canada.
Yes.
You probably think it's Toronto, but it's Toronto. We won't get into that too much. We have another great episode for you today. Really good, and I'll let Robert get into that. We got a lot of things we want to talk about, but it's going to be
awesome.
fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So we have a special guest. I actually met him through the Video Ranking Academy. It's a program that we're both a part of. And we got to chatting one day and we gave each other some, tips and ideas on our videos. And I offered to, if he wanted to come on, he said, sure. So obviously I jumped on it. It's going to be awesome. He's a real cool dude. So welcome, Jesse from Utah.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
What's up?
How you doing? Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This is my first opportunity to do a podcast, and I'm excited. I really am.
Awesome. Yeah. So one of the first things I want to do is I kind of mentioned to you in a chat we were in is I want to say thank you very much for your service. He is a 24-year retired Air Force. So thank you so much. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to Lionel too, even though he's not in the U.S., but he appreciates military service.
Yeah, if I could just really briefly explain why it means as much to me. My family, on my father's side, has a long history of serving in the Canadian Forces, Air Force, Navy, so on and so on, and several members perished in World War I, World War II, and from complications afterwards, as many others did. And obviously some survived, thankfully, as well. Now I know that's Canadian Forces, but the thing is the long-standing history that we have and two countries of serving together, not just, we were in the same war, but many times over many wars and battles. Canadians have served under an American general, Americans served under a Canadian general or colonel. And both of them under a British, and all three of them under an American again. And it's just a relationship we have. And so when I want to always say thank you for your service, because listen, we live in countries that may not be as free as we want them to be, as we all know, but they're still freer than
much freer than a lot of the world.
And so that's it. So thank you for your service. And that's,
thank you. I mean, it really does mean a lot, and it was an honor. It was just under 26 years, and I had the opportunity to serve both enlisted and as an officer. I did 15 years enlisted, and then 10 years as an officer on aircraft maintenance. And so I got the best of both worlds, I would say, and it was, I mean, greatest time of my life. It was time to move on.
I really have to ask, because I like most Americans and Canadians in my age group anyways, I of course watched 11 years of MASH. And I heard the word enlisted man so many times in those 11 years, and I don't know what that means. Please tell me.
All right. An enlisted person is someone that is not a degree holding and has gone through a commissioning source like ROTC, the Reserve Officer Training Corps. Graduated from a university with a 4-year degree and entered the military as an officer and took the commission to serve the nation and obey the orders of the President of the United States, basically.
So, as an example, let's say I were drafted, I would not be enlisted, or would be enlisted.
You would probably be enlisted. They generally don't draft officers because there's a requirement associated with it, specifically the degree, and then also just an aptitude for leadership that they'll test.
So one more just to clarify. I don't want to take up all the time just with that, but again, this is going to be a movie example because it's a reference I can get. Did you see the movie An Officer and a Gentleman?
I have.
Okay. When he went, because he needed to get jets, when he went through that program, that meant he wasn't enlisted, right? So he wouldn't have been considered. Okay, now I get it. Thank you very much for that explanation. Now,
No
now I
worries.
can go back and watch MASH, and I can understand just how much of a dick Major Burns really is.
And I was not Major Burns, okay?
Yeah.
The nice thing about being enlisted for so long is you understand the mentality, and actually the enlisted folks that serve under you as an officer, they really respect you because they know where you came from. I made it up to E7 out of the E9 ranks. So there's 9 ranks. I was a master sergeant. So
I was going to ask
all the tiers, save for 2 of them. And so everyone that served under me, I related to them. I knew what their pain points were, and it really built a nice relationship from the officer to enlisted perspective.
I can't remember if you said what branch were you serving?
Air Force.
Air Force. Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, that's the thing is God, I actually at one point did want to actually get into the service. I think I thought I was too old when I finally just said, you know what, I should do it. And I don't remember what stopped me. I think it was just having some bad times. And at one point I was like, I just got to get a job right now. Not realizing I would have had a place to stay and food if I had just gone in, because this was in the this would be in the early 1980s, and in the early 1980s in Canada for sure, if you went in and said I want to join, a couple of weeks later you're at boot camp. That's it. I mean, it's not like that now, because now you got to be screened as if you were trying to get a job babysitting. You know, it's like it's not the same thing anymore. It takes forever to do anything anymore. But back then, no, you know, and it's not like any Canada was going to war in 1983 or anything like that, but they would take you if they had one spot available, you were in it. If you went in, and if you weren't, there were other options, and there was also the reserves. The reserves were always looking for somebody new.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same in the U.S.
Well, awesome. I tried twice. I was medically denied twice, so I figured that it was not. God did not have that in my plans.
Not in the cards, man.
So
I moved on.
God had plans for you, though. God had plans for you. Obviously, you're where you need to be.
Yes. So I'm okay with it. But I had a buddy of mine. His dad was in the Marines for 35 years, and they made him get out. He didn't want. He's like, I want to die in my uniform and my desk.
Get out!
No, get out!
You served enough. Here's your pension. Here's your gold watch. Get out!
That's a long time. Yeah, there's an age at which point, if you're not like a 4-star general or something, like I think 60 is it. You got to go.
Yeah, I think when he had on his dress blues, he had so much weight.
Oh no!
On his, I was like, how do you even walk right now? so like your whole chest is covered.
See, what you're basically saying is there's no 93-year-old gunnies.
No. Maybe in the reserves. I'll tell you, I have met
really
5-year-old reservists, so they're out there. But
are you sure they weren't militia? I'm sure there's lots of 90-year-old militia out there.
Little Civil War.
Well, at least 80-year-old. But I don't know.
Before we move on, one last thing, and please say thank you for your service to your wife, because anybody that's been in the military knows that's the unsung hero, the mom and the wife at home.
Yeah, 100%.
Hats off to her, because that's not easy.
And if you have kids that knew you were away, were born and you were away, hats off to them too.
I was
in without mommy or daddy, for months and more at a time.
Yeah, I was lucky that we had our child when I was close to retiring. I was 3 years away from retiring, so I didn't go anywhere. I made a point of not going anywhere, and I made it clear that I am going to be retiring. So don't try and leave me somewhere.
Well, that's nice then.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So, make sure you guys go check out his vlog. It is Adventure Family Vlog. And he travels a lot of the Americas, and I'm sure he's done some international, which we're going to probably get into that. So we'll make sure and link his channel in our description. So make sure you go check that out, because one thing that I really like about his blog is the way he educates the viewer. And even though I'm 50 something, there's things I've learned that I did not know from his vlog. So I really appreciate the educational side of things. And so it brings me to my first question is, what really made you or want to get into doing this type of vlogging content?
So I've always been a traveler, an adventurer. I want to just get out and experience everything there is to see. Wherever I'm at, doesn't matter. I'm going to find out what's there to do, what's exciting. And it was ironic. My wife had some surgery, and so she started watching a travel couple called Kara and Nate. And she sent me one of their videos, and I was hooked. They were basically going full time traveling the world. And at that point, I think they'd been doing it for 5 years. And they just started out with going, hey, we're going to save enough to travel for 1 year and see what happens. And they made the right decisions. They found the right audience, and they've grown to like 3.7 million followers now.
Dang,
subscribers on YouTube. And as I'm watching them, I'm just like, I love traveling. I love helping people. I love experiencing new things and adventuring. Why don't I do that and see if I can provide a service and maybe help some people with ideas of what they want to do, if they want to go somewhere, experience something, and hopefully entertain them at the same time. And I am kind of a techie. I love technology, but it really took some growing pains and some experience sitting in front of a camera and just talking to a camra, which you guys are pretty used to with your
still getting used to it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just, and it occurred to me that I want to travel for the rest of my life, and I don't want to be 65 when I retire. So I'll be 50 next year, and by 55, I want to be done working and just on my way to seeing the world however I want to do it. And if this YouTube channel is an opportunity to get closer to that, then great. If it isn't, and it's just something I'm passionate about and I get to do for fun, then that's great too. But that's kind of
that's a good attitude to have. Yeah, that's a good attitude to have. I like that.
One of the things that I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say one of the things that, and I'm sure you've heard this in VRA, which I'm sure you feel the same as I do. That's been an amazing environment, really, just overall. The people that I've met within the Facebook group and some of the content has actually really been extremely helpful. And I've bought other courses before, so I was really apprehensive about buying this. But the only reason why I did is because they have not lived up to what their promise was prior to purchase.
Yeah.
So that being said, it's been a great course. But one of the things that kind of strikes me in the group or what they teach is that you just kind of have to get out there and, you have to experience it. But the more you do it, the better you're going to be. And, it's funny you say, I have to get used to behind the camera, because when I first started this back, I've only been doing this since like August or September of last year. It's not been that long.
Same here.
Yeah. But I'm the kind of guy, I think, kind of like you, that like if I'm going to go into something, I go to pedal to the floor like 150 miles an hour.
Yeah, I can testify to this. I can also tell you, if you look back at his first 5 or 6 videos, you could see a massive difference. Now, this is not an insult. I told you, Robert, in the first place, it was just naturally going to get better, and I gave him some advice too. And it's not that I'm a bread, like, I mean, look at this. I got nothing going on here, but, but it was the way he carried himself that I said that will come naturally, but here's a couple of little pieces of it. By the way, you got it in spades. Jess.
Well, thank you. I got a lot of work to do.
I was watching a little bit of your videos there, and you're like, it's okay. Professionally edited. He's got the voice. Your audio is unbelievably well mixed. I got some questions about that a little bit later. We'll carry on with his area there. But the bottom line is you can see how Robert carries himself in front of the camera. His lighting is just smack on perfect. He's made the improvements and looks so much better. I actually have a bunch of stuff that's got to be done, and this whole room's getting renovated. By the way, my renovations are coming this weekend. So next week it ain't going to look like this finally.
Nice.
But it's finally getting done. But nonetheless, everybody improves, and it's a perfect attitude to have. But I will say that having watched a little bit of yours, I'm like, man, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the travel. I'm jealous that I haven't seen any giant 9,000-year-old 2,000, but I was exaggerating. Year-old trees. I want to see General Sherman, for crying out loud. Come on,
it's pretty awesome.
But I will say this. There are a lot of places on Ontario that you would like. So if you decide you want to come to Canada, that is one of the places.
I'm telling you, we have plans to get up to Canada. I don't know when it's going to happen. I actually want to do a van life or mini motorhome series.
Yeah.
And we want to hit all the districts and provinces of Canada.
Well, if you're talking about doing a series like in one trip, then there's wow, that'd be like traveling across the U.S. almost.
Yep.
Not quite, because you have to crisscross up and down if you do it in the U.S. In Canada, it's mostly just east to west, west to east. I will say this: start on the East Coast, not because you get the best in the West, but because if you time everything perfectly fine, you definitely will get probably most of the most scenic stuff between the East Coast and Northern Ontario as you get through there. As you get into the Prairie Province, I swear, you got to stop in a couple of towns and cities just to see what the locals are like. But it's very flat. It's like traveling through North Dakota and parts of Montana, but without Montana. I don't know what to say. Everybody says, "Oh, big sky country." I say, you know what? It's like that in Manitoba too. The only difference is that Montana has a nice reputation for it. Very flat, very open.
I can't wait. I've only been to Canada once, and that was to Whistler, and I went snowboarding there.
Oh, nice! That's a nice place.
But we want to go to Banff sooner than later, and that's just a beautiful area. So we're probably going to take a road trip up there here within the next year, and spend a week just going up and hitting Glacier National Park, and then into Canada.
Oh yeah. If you do that, and if that's going to be a shorter one, then everything you mentioned is perfect. If there's a little bit more time on your hands for that one, I would say that either from there go into BC and check out around Vancouver. It doesn't have to technically be Vancouver. It could be other towns around Vancouver. But being closer to Calgary, you might want to check out Calgary. Now, if you're going there, if you're going to Banff in the winter to go skiing, there's not that much going on in Calgary. If you go in the summer, of course, you can plan for the Calgary Stampede.
Cool. Because
Banff is really cool, even if it is in the summer. It's just without the skiing. Yeah.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. Thanks for the tips. If when the time comes, because to me, it's going to be a win. We're going to be hitting all the U.S. states and all the Canadian provinces and districts.
Wow. So, yeah. So you're going to have something that's going to be like a couple of years worth of law.
Yes, it will. For sure.
So So that sounds like something where you could be doing East Coast up New England and then into the Maritimes in Canada, and then back down into New York or something like that, and into Ontario, and come back down into Michigan, and
we're just zigzag up and down the
it would, and that would work because most of what you want to see in Canada is within 100 to 200 kilometers or miles at least of the border. So it's not a lot of travel northward. But on the Maritimes, you may choose to be there slightly longer because there's a lot of places up in Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. I haven't been yet, and it sucks. I meant to go.
Travel.
I wanted to go a couple of years ago. Photography. My vacation time for me is a photography vacation. Just taking the camera equipment and going, and I had that planned out, and it was right when the pandemic ended. I could not get a hotel, a bed and breakfast, whatever you call it, Airbnb, or any of them fake Airbnbs, or wannabe Airbnbs, whatever the other ones are called. I couldn't get a plane, a train, or an automobile to rent.
Man,
I couldn't even find John Candy in the back of a van. I got nothing. There were no pillows, nothing. So I eventually asked him, well, do you have anything available in October, which is not when I'm going to take my summer vacation, obviously. And they said, October 17th, we have a room and I can get you on a train. And I said, well, that's just lovely. I won't take it, but thanks.
Hey, trains are fun sometimes. I haven't done a lot.
No, that's not that. It's just my vacation was first week of July.
Oh man,
I ended up doing nothing, and then last year I just drove up to a really what I thought was going to be a great spot in Ontario. I wanted to see a cave, and the cave ended up being the size of my bedroom. It was just an opening in the rock. I was so pissed. And I was too tired to drive further. I could have seen a lot more, but it would have been another 3 hours just to drive up there, and then I would have been coming back at 2 in the morning. And I was like, no.
Oh man.
I remember when he texted me, he goes, I just drove 3 hours to see this. And he sees a picture of a rock. I'm like, oh, that's a nice rock.
Oh,
I didn't do my research well enough, obviously.
Yeah.
Golly.
In all honesty, I would have preferred some place where I could even go spelunking. I've never been spelunking in my life. I don't know if there is any place around here where I can spelunk. But
gotta be.
Maybe. Probably got to go further north, way up to Sudbury or something. It's a mining town, so there's got to be a place to spelunk in old mining towns.
For real.
Yeah.
Well, I have one more comment about your channel, and then I have a question, and then I think Sean or Lionel has some stuff that he wants to ask you. So, your attitude about I'm just going to do it because I love to do it is huge, because so many people, including myself, when I first started, I wasn't like so focused, like I've got to make money. But I got so hyper focused on, I need to get monetized, and I need to get this, and I need to get that. And it kind of took some of the joy away. And so if you do watch some of my videos, you notice like now I'm just myself, I'm just relaxed. I'm just like, whatever. I look at my analytics. I look at my channels. I follow what's going on, but I don't stress over. It's like, whatever, just like that video that I tagged you on in Facebook.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm like, let's just redo it. I mean, it's not performing bad, but let's just go ahead and redo it. Ironically, the one I re-uploaded is performing about the same. So that's good. Actually a little more watch time. So, it's good. But it's attitude, man, and going into it for the right reasons. One day you're going to wake up, you're going to be on vacation somewhere, and you're going to go, holy shit, I just did 1 million views on this video. Okay, let me look at my bank account. Holy shit. So that's a great attitude to have. So that's paramount.
Well, and the nice thing is I don't need this to be my sole source of income. I mean, I've got a pension, and that's a benefit of being retired military is I'm going to get paid for the rest of my life every single month. And while I do want the YouTube channel to succeed, obviously, because I want to maintain a certain lifestyle when I stop working, but it doesn't have to happen. So that's a nice kind of feeling that I can just go into it and just love it and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's that kind of attitude. You just you don't stress. All that stress of performing is gone. You want it to, and you're going to do your best. You're 100%. Especially, I know military people, and you don't half-ass anything, and that's kind of ingrained in your blood, So, I think your channel is going to blow up, man. I honestly, when I started watching your videos, I'm like, why does this dude only have 700 subscribers? Because it's really a fantastic channel. I mean, honestly, if I had not met you in VRA and all that, I would still be watching your channel. I would go, oh man, I'm going to subscribe to this guy's channel because it's some great content. So just keep that up. It's awesome.
I will. And as you know, improving the 1% each time, that's what we're trying to do. And one day, if it hits, it hits. That's great. If not, I'm just having fun doing it.
Well, honestly, I think it will, because you're in a demographic that is absolutely nailing it the last few years, and it's not going away. In all honesty, and I love everything that's tech. So things that come up that's technical in my feed, I'm watching it. But I watch stuff about iPhones, and I don't really like iPhones, but I watch Pixels, Samsungs. It comes up about TVs. Some guys testing a new modem. I don't really care, because almost be doing the same thing, giving you faster than you need. But if the guy's testing it, I'm probably watching it. I watch videos on guys who like to shoot their guns. Canadians like their guns too. It's a complete myth that people think that Canadians don't like guns. In fact, I plan to actually get take my course and get my license. And the first one I want is going to be shooting 5.56. I decided I like 5.56 better than 2.27. I don't know why. I
because
don't
that's
know
what he's
why.
used in Modern Warfare, so don't let me kid you.
No, that is shut up. That's not true. That's not true. I literally, I've watched a lot of videos. I've checked it out. I've done some research. And I just like, honestly, it's what I want. And there's a number of reasons why. So first of all, in all honesty, if I have a gun that shoots 5.56, it's going to shoot 2.27. Yep. Bottom line, if I have one that only shoots 2.27, it might shoot 5.56. I might blow my face off.
Yeah.
There are reasons for that. So 5.56, give it to me. But I was looking at one the other day and I was thinking, well, when I can afford that, it would be kind of nice. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. That looks more like it's some kind of, like a battle rifle or something. What is this thing? And it shot the 7.62, and I was like, no, I don't want one of those just to target practice up north.
Yeah.
What am I going to target practice with? A giant tree?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to shoot at 10 cans and bottles with a 7.62. No. But here's the irony. I don't know what it's like in the US. I mean, everything's cheaper there, period. But a 7.62, a box of 50 costs like $20. But it costs $50 for a box of 30, 5.56. Why?
Yeah, I guess it's demand, supply and demand. It's just
but here's the thing: it's a smaller bullet. It's not that much smaller, but the amount of powder in the cartridge is similar. Is it not?
I believe so. I'm not a huge gun person, but I believe.
There's different amounts depending on what you get, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But nonetheless, it's. Anyways, I don't even know why. Sorry, I went way off track.
yeah, you're off some tangent.
I went way off. I'm just trying to get more American viewers to understand the Canadians. Get in here. And also the Canadians realize we are allowed to like guns. We don't have to hate them and pretend that we're, sure, we might say sorry, but we're not sorry that we like guns. I'm sorry.
That's
I did went off on my little tangent there, but that was
well, my last question for you, and then I think I told Lionel about your Apple Vision Pro. I think he has some things he wanted to ask you, but one thing I'm curious about, because this is one thing that I'm kind of like, despite how you may think all this looks and I'm doing great on camera, blah, 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 but I'm not scared to death, but I'm really nervous about going out in public and just talking like you do through public. And I want to know, how do you deal with that? And do you get any pushback? Like what do you do as a vlogger in public that, doesn't create, I don't know, people yelling at you?
So the interesting thing was I cared a lot when I started. I would try and get into some solitary place or some place where people aren't there. And I guess first off, my mentality is I really don't care what people think about me. Their opinion really doesn't matter to me unless it's someone that's a loved one. So I just started putting the camera out in front of me and I just started talking to it. And the amount of looks you're going to get is, they're everywhere. The people that try and photobomb you as they're walking back behind you and they give you this funny look, it happens all the time. But I just try to envision that I am talking to a specific person. I'm talking to my wife. I'm talking to a family member, or a friend, and it's just a conversation between me and the camera. And whoever's around, they can be around and they can listen and they can watch, but it's not going to distract me or discourage me from saying what I want to say. And it's really just it's losing the give a shit factor, basically.
Yeah. Well, I look at it like, if I can walk through public talking on the phone, I don't think twice about it. Yeah. What's the difference of having the camera out in front of me? It's the same thing. So, I get it. I guess my biggest thing is people have this whole don't record me, BS kind of attitude that I honestly am like you. I really don't give a shit because I walked around for a year and a half with Google Glass on my face. Okay. Those things were the funniest looking things ever. Right. And I
wanted to ask about that actually.
I could care less, but I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to be the asshole or glass hole as we used to be called.
No, so that is true. And especially it's usually when you're going into an establishment, if you walk in with your camera and you're filming and they say, hey, no filming, well, just turn it off. It's just, you don't need everything. And it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But it happens less often than you think. I mean, I walked onto a plane, and a lot of planes these days they're like, don't film the crew, don't that kind of, because they've been getting in a lot of trouble from the actions they've been taking. But a couple have been just like, hey, and you'd see that in the Apple Vision Pro video. This one stewardess was just like, what's up? So
yeah, I love that interview you did with the pilot, man. That was awesome. And did you know, just so you know, you probably didn't know this, do you fly Delta a lot?
I do, yeah.
Okay, there's an unknown little secret, and I plan on doing this when I fly to Germany because I'm flying Delta. Okay. The pilots carry trading cards, and you have to specifically ask them for it. Oh, you already knew about that. Okay. Did you get your trading card?
My son did.
Nice.
Give it to his son. So
I have
that sounds like something that would have been popular in the 1970s. Have they been doing this for a long time?
It probably is.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, okay.
So my plan is I have a Delta Amex. Okay. And this card is 25% of that aircraft you see on the front. They chopped it up and made a very limited run of cards. And I remember getting my invite from Amex. I'm like, hell yeah. Because I mean, I'm not like huge aviation guy, but I love airplanes. I have since I was little. When I lived in California, I lived right next to El Toro Air Force Base, when it was actually still an Air Force base. And I used to watch all the F-18s and the F-4s, and I used to go watch the Blue Angels, and I was, enamored with it. So I'm going to be like, I'll show you mine if you give me yours.
Wasn't that base destroyed in Independence Day?
It was. Yes. That was the one. Yeah. And then Clinton.
Didn't you know, son? It's been destroyed. It's gone.
But anyway, so I was just kind of curious about that, and you, I guess you basically, again, already kind of affirmed what I already thought, but I just kind of curious from somebody that you're so successful at it. I'm like, okay, is there a trick? No trick, just do it.
Yeah, just do it, because I mean, people can care all they want, but the bottom line is, what do you care about, and what do you want your audience to know? So,
you know what I think, though, is that most people actually just have a self-consciousness about it and just assume that people actually are going to be like, what's he doing? But they know already because they see it every day. Everyone else doing it. There are people doing TikTok dances in the middle of the street. And if all you're doing is holding a camera out going, me and my family are going to this place, you don't look any different than the guy who doesn't have the camera.
Especially
even when I was walking last year out in the forest, I still was worried someone was going to come along. And somebody did pass me at one point when I was doing this on the trail. I thought I was the only one there. Somebody went by, and I was like doing my vlog thing. I stopped it because in my mind, I was still thinking, oh my God, somebody's going to see it. By the way, I did just because I think it's funny, and I wanted someone to actually see it. I actually forgot I actually have to hit the share button in order to do it. It's kind of humorous, but I just gonna, if I have to put it on there now, right? Is it gonna make it no, it's not a, where do I put this? Show on stream. Okay, so I have to put that up there and then hit the button. Okay. See, I'm learning too.
Is that your rock?
Well, I gotta be honest with you. If I were reviewing this cave as a cave reviewer, which I'm not, I'd probably give this a pretty low rating because, well, it's cool and it looks nice. Yeah, I thought it would be bigger than this. It's more of an opening. God, I want to call it a grotto, but I think that's something. See, I know nothing about what I'm talking about, but at least I own that.
Yeah, obviously, that's good.
Or I may have decided to take a trip somewhere else first, but this is not the biggest cave I've ever seen in my life. Oh well.
That's awesome. That's an honest opinion. That's exactly what you need to give, is an honest opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, I honestly, I have other tools to do better than that now, to be honest with you. I have to be able to get out to do it, and it's most likely not going to happen this summer. I might get a chance to go somewhere and maybe do a little something. I just did a little bit of a test thing. just going down the road several miles
Mhm.
to a small pond near the lake. Well, actually, I was actually pretty much at
That
the
was
lake.
a really good video too, by the way. Yeah.
Well, thanks. And it was I shot it on my phone with Blackmagic camera app on my
Okay.
Pixel phone, which is new to Pixel phone, and I decided to shoot it straight to Rec 709 and not try to do any outside editing, because I wanted to see what it'd be like if I just wanted to do a quick video and quick edit.
Yeah.
And I edited it while I was still there, sitting in the shade, and did everything, and then uploaded to YouTube after I got home because it was really bad signal there. It would have got home anyways. I got home, it took 5 seconds, boom, gone. And it was all done. I didn't put any titles in it or anything like that. I didn't do any voiceover. I just added the music and put it on. So the entire process took me close to a half an hour to edit it, because I was sitting there on my phone, one clip at a time, adding a special, an effect or whatever, and the transitions. So what I haven't asked yet, what I'm curious about is what do you use to edit your videos, audio and video, and is it 2 or more different programs?
Yeah. So I have a subscription to Adobe, so I have Adobe Premiere Pro. That's the primary one that I use for the long form videos. But there's and it's really the only one. And then for music, I also have Artlist.io access.
Okay.
So that one
like
is
that.
Nice.
It's got, whether it's music or video and things, graphics, things like that. And it's a pretty good source. I want to look at some other ones and see if there's better options out there. But for now, it's doing what it needs to do. And then on my phone, there's an app that I use just for shorts, and it's called Video Leap. And it
I've heard of it.
Just for shorts, it's pretty useful. It's quick, it's easy. You can add music within the app and titles and all those, and transitions and everything else. And so for the shorts, that's generally, if I'm shooting on my phone, you might as well just edit on your phone and be done with it. So that's really the biggest sources that I use, is just those 3. And then of course Adobe stock has some things that, because of the subscription status, I can pull like 5 assets a month or something like that. And I do that sometimes for those more difficult to find aerials, like in a national park or things like that.
Yeah, that's something I haven't delved into yet either. I feel, honestly, and this is just me, that I don't want to use B-roll I haven't shot myself until I learn how to do it myself. And it's just me. I just feel like that's not what other people, I'm saying. People need to do what they're comfortable with, learn at the pace they learn at, take the advice of people they feel is giving them the good advice. I'm not an expert. I'm the one trying to learn. But one thing I will say is I dumped into DaVinci Resolve because I haven't used Premiere in 25 years. And I was confusing even then, but I knew how to use it. There's no way you could pay me to go back to Adobe Premiere Pro. Not because it's not good, but because everything that it can do, I can get in DaVinci Resolve for free. And then once I do decide to pay for it, even more. And as for, color grading, color correcting, you can't beat it. There's nothing on the market that does.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't, so many people say that.
Which one of us is beeping? That's me. I think my light's going to die soon. What is going on? I plugged it in. I'm sorry. Go on.
It's not about the equipment. I have seen people that go out with an iPhone or an Android and shoot a video that gets 2 million views.
Oh yeah.
And all they did was edit on their phone. And so it's about content. And so it doesn't really matter what you're actually using as a tool. I started using it because we homeschool our son, and so I could get a discount on the subscription service. And it is a powerful tool. It does have a steep learning curve.
Yeah, it does. It does. But if you're good at it, if you're good at it, then you're good at it. It's as simple as it. And it works.
But DaVinci is a great program. I've used it many years ago, and I haven't tried it since. But I'm sure it's very intuitive, and it gets the job done. That's all you need.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I actually have to turn on a different light because this is going to beep.
You're
Someone's
good.
going to think the smoke alarm is on. I will be right back.
You're fine. I use the CapCut. I started out using it Video Proc Vlogger. It was free, and I struggled with it, and then I came across CapCut. I'm like, let me give this a try. It was free too, and I was like, wow, this blows Video Proc away. So I actually bought their Pro, which is like $69 a year, and it gives you way more capabilities, and it gives you things that like some of their stock images and videos and transitions and all kinds of cool stuff that you can add. So I pretty much do, and they have a really good app too for the phone, and it works really, really well.
Yeah.
So
and whatever tool works best. That's the biggest thing. Once I figured I was going to learn Premiere Pro and Photoshop, I might as well just go all in and stick with it.
Yeah. I actually have an Adobe subscription just for Adobe Acrobat. My wife is a medical professional, and I do a lot of PDF editing for her practice. And they had the Adobe Express Advanced was free with it. So I've been using that for basically it's a Canva, but with Adobe. And it's just as proficient. It works great. That's what I use to create thumbnails. And thumbnails has always been something I struggle with, but what I've started to do is pull sections of the video out to use for the thumbnail, and then add, like on that video for the Samsung and my watch, I'm staring at the camera for a minute so I can pull that still out,
Right.
So, I think that's actually started working a lot better.
Good.
So
that's something I don't do well. I need to pre-plan the thumbnails and actually, set the stage for them, because you'll get a better product than pulling out of a video, unless you are doing what you're doing. And that is, on purpose, sitting there and freezing yourself in a certain pixel frame to pull that off. And Canva, I use that as well. That's exactly, there you go. That's the one.
Wait, all of us at the same time. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Thumbnail.
There's our thumbnail for the episode.
There you go. That's great. Yeah, Canva's a good tool. The free one as well. You've got a lot of capability there, and I've been using that for all our thumbnails as well. So technology is great, and I've been using AI, which has been useful in so many different areas. But in particular, it's been useful for kind of the scripting and some of the voiceovers that I've been doing. It does an amazing job. You get the 80% solution, tweak it to your 20% you really need for yourself. And man, once I found that tool, I've been relying on it for ideas, for scripting, for all kinds of things.
Now, see, that's exactly, because we were talking about this actually before you came on, and that's kind of a thing that I like, because I noticed that the trend going into AI with people who are doing vlogging, everything that works, that is good, always has something that goes a little negative in a different direction slightly for some. And it why is it flickering now? Everything's going to go wrong for me. Anyways, see, why have I done something? Stop it.
It's the poltergeist.
Yeah, really. I'm going to lose my train of thought. Oh, the AI. So what I was saying was, some of the people that are vlogging are getting to the point where they go out with their camera, they walk around, they do their stuff, and they do everything. And they get an AI script. They don't edit it. They just ask it for an idea, say basically, okay, I need a script for someone vlogging, walking down a trail next to a river. They see a mountain trail, they go up that, and then it cuts to the scene of getting into a minivan, a Volkswagen Beetle or whatever. Then they're driving down the road with one person has got his hands up in the sunroof, and then we're having drinks at the pub next to the highway. I need a script for that.
I gotta write that down.
Yeah, and then you could tell, because it's just so mechanical, and they use the AI voice, the AI script. They don't edit it. And I'm thinking, why did you even do it then? Just show the video and put some captions. It would be more interesting. But when you use AI the way you're describing it to do a script, or if you want it to be something really serious, like a big long one, you might even storyboard the idea. And you could get it to do that too. And get your script, you edit it, and you do this stuff. And this is exactly what I was talking about. So I think you're on the right track. So basically, you use it just to say, okay, I need to tweak the idea I have, and then once it tweaks it, you tweak it more.
Yeah.
To match your content. Is that correct?
And that's just it. It's just another tool, but it's not going to replace the mind. This is where the ideas come from. This is where you're going to be able to relate to your audience. You're going to be able to come up with ideas and solutions to their problems. And AI isn't going to do that. It's going to give you maybe some smooth words and some good transitions and some ideas, but it's a tool, and you've got to treat it as that.
Yeah, and with that, I automatically have to demonstrate how interesting AI can be, or funny. Oh my goodness! Oh no, this is actually kind of funny. Wait a minute, I got to make sure the volume goes up here. Hello, ChatGPT. I'm just wondering, should I use AI to write a script? Should I write it myself, or should I just let AI do everything for me? I'm not hearing it. Are you hearing it?
No.
Why is it not? I did this before and it went through the microphone, no problem. Now
he likes to play with ChatGPT and Gemini and
well,
Copilot.
the reason why is because I wanted to see what it said, but luckily it does give me a transcript. So it says, and this is, I like this right there. Well, right up there, it says, it depends on what you want to achieve and your preference. If you're looking for creative control and a personal touch, writing the script yourself might be more satisfying. However, using AI can help generate ideas, provide structure, or even help with writer's block. So even the AI is saying, don't rely on me. Use me as a tool.
Good. That means that, the T2 isn't going to take over the world here. Terminator.
Stuff, right? So far. But if I ask Gemini that question, though, it'll probably say, I can't answer that question. I'm only a large learning model. So I'm sorry, Google. I love you. Put that ready. ChatGPT is further ahead. Which one do you use for your AI? Just the tools built into the services you have, or do you use ChatGPT? Or
ChatGPT has kind of been my go-to. I've tried Gemini, and it's given me a few ideas, but I think ChatGPT is more the further along solution at this point.
It is now. Honestly, when they first put the Gemini out there, it was like this far ahead, but then ChatGPT just said, you know what? I'm Usain Bolt and you're Ben Johnson. Get off the steroids. You're out of the race. I'm glad somebody got that joke, because a lot of Americans don't even know who Ben Johnson was. Fastest man in the world on steroids. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, what I find is my use of AI is mostly with Gemini, only because, again, I pay for a 2 terabyte plan with Google for my online storage, and it comes with the Gemini Pro or Advanced or whatever they're calling it now. So it's the elevated model. But I don't really ask it to give me my scripting. I don't typically script out completely. I'll bullet point, and I'm much better at that, because I find that if I script too much, then I start reading it like this and I look really robotic, and it's just not comfortable for me.
Well, you're not doing a play. It's not meant to be memorized. So bullet points are a lot better if you're trying to be better.
But what I'll do is, when I edit it in CapCut and I export the SRT file that I upload to YouTube when I upload the video, I'll take that SRT file and I'll turn it in just a regular text document. So then I'll go to Gemini and say, hey, provide me with a SEO optimized title and description for a YouTube video using the attached file. I upload the file, it reads the file, so it's my own words, and it just condenses what I have to say in a title and a description that's got SEO keywords built into it based on what I've already said. So I'm just using what I already said and just having it rearrange it for me. And then I'll say, okay, give me 25 keywords. And then I also say, okay, give me 5 key video timestamps, and it'll timestamp it. Just copy paste.
That's pretty awesome. That's a good way to use AI for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly better than what I just demonstrated. What I just did was just for fun. as we say, for shits and giggles.
There you go.
Yeah. So
if
it's
it took up anybody's time as a Canadian, sorry.
Sorry.
I say all the time what you said earlier. It's just a tool. You know, it's like anything. Trash in, trash out. And if you're putting in, you know, the right things, you're gonna get the right things out of it. If you're using it for the, you know, in the correct manner, it's gonna give you what you need. That's, you know, I tried the whole Faceless thing. I tried the InVideo AI. It just didn't hit with me. I just seemed like I was really disconnected from my videos and the audience, and so I stopped using it. Not that there's not a place for it. I just, you know, maybe I wasn't utilizing it correct, but just it doesn't fit for me. You know,
well,
we play around with stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah, I watched a Casey Neistat vlog. He was huge, you know, 6-7 years ago, and he used AI at the time to write a vlog script, and he followed it like verbatim. And it was the worst vlog I've ever seen. And
wait, did he do it on purpose? Because he was experimenting. Yeah, okay, all right.
He was like, he was proving the point that the human mind is going to do 1,000,000 times better than an AI generated idea. And it did. It was a pretty humorous.
Did he do it on his powered skateboard?
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I have one, by the way, and they're fun.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh, no, have you done it?
He rides it with his Apple Vision Pro. He rides it around.
I got to check that out. I'm gonna be checking that out. That's pretty cool. I would wish I had one.
A review of the two Meepo electric skateboards. The one I have still, the other I gave my 18-year-old. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's a little terrifying when you got your 7-year-old in between standing on the board with you and you're going 32 miles an hour, but it's fun.
Don't step off, son, no matter what you do. Yeah. Well, you know, it's I watched that you know, the Apple Vision Pro video, and of course it brought a lot of memories back to the Google Glass scenario. It wasn't obviously that advanced, but yeah, was it Sketch driving in it? Because to me, that just doesn't seem like it would be like. I was watching, like, man, I see people do it all the time. I'm like, man, I just don't know about that.
It wasn't. It's surprisingly like vivid and clear. The image that's projected on your eyes, and there was no lag. The annoying part was what you saw in the video, the little warnings about, hey, you're moving too fast, or, you know, glitching out with the apps appearing, things like that. Would I do it on a normal basis? Heck no. I don't have the app. I don't have it anymore. I wanted to just experiment and try with it. It's not where it needs to be. Yeah. But it was an interesting experience, and flying on a plane to watching a movie with it was, I mean, that's I mean, it's a $3,000 theater on your face.
You know what? I have to say that I do actually have one tiny little bit in common with you guys, and that I did get an opportunity to test out something way before either one of those. And that was back in the days when the glasses you put on just had the little movie screen thing. That's it. All it was for plug it in, and whatever video source went into it, that's what you were watching.
Was it CRT?
My dad was a tech guy back then in the day, and he's one of the reasons I got into loving tech. And he'd come home and he'd have a new phone and this and a keyboard that all you did was put this box down and I put lasers on the table, which was a huge failure, as we all know now. Yeah. And for many reasons, the lag is disgusting. 70,000 milliseconds of. Anyways, and then one day he said, you know, he said, well, you want to watch a movie? And I was my late teens or early 20s? I can't remember, something along that line. Things, you want to watch a movie? And I said, yeah, we're going to watch it. And I'm thinking, a little teeny TV, big deal. All TVs were real teeny back then. And he brought out this pair of glasses and he says, put them on.
Wow.
And I was like, so I sat there and I watched this movie, and it made it look like I was watching this giant, like, to me right now, what I remember it looking like was probably sitting 8-12 feet from a 65-inch TV.
Yeah.
Something like that, which is really incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it was probably only 640p or not even p, because there was no p. I mean, it was probably 640i. You know, but at the same time, it looked better than a tube TV, except that it was a little washed out. but it made it feel more like you're watching a movie screen in a theater.
Yeah.
And of course, you absolutely had to have the lights out because the light bleed just washed it right out.
Yeah.
But the difference was that from what I did is that both you guys could actually see past what you were looking at.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
I did not have that ability. Mine was blocked off.
Gotcha.
Yeah, your little dinosaur clip, it blew me away really, because that was so, and it's looking around at people in the seats, and I'm like, what the?
Yeah,
it was amazing.
It was
I mean,
wild.
that right there would probably almost sell it for me. But like you said, I don't need a $3,000 movie theater, on my face. So.
Yeah.
It'll get there. I mean, Apple knows how to.
Yeah.
I think honestly, they knew what they were doing when they released this version, and it was market research. They knew the hardcore Apple users that were going to buy it and give them feedback, and they've got something better in the works. And within a few years, we'll probably see sunglasses that are that kind of capability.
Yeah, the biggest difference between what they did and what Google did is that Apple knows that they're doing market research, and they know that they're going to come up with something else, and it may not be anywhere near the same, but they'll do something. Even if they decide that this is only going to be an enterprise product and they make a smaller version of it, it will happen. The difference between that and Google is Google just said, let's just shelf it. And then 3 years later, well, let's bring it back again, but only for business people and in certain sectors who are like going, well, it's not that good. And then the Apple one comes out and they go, oh, but I can't use it with my Pixel phone. But I'll get a Samsung instead.
Very niche.
No, Apple is marketing. Samsung and Apple are the kings of marketing on the planet.
They are.
When it comes to tech products. They're just nothing that can be said about that. Google has their graveyard. So
for real.
So as for your vlogging, again, it's awesome. I want to be able to get traveling. So you've done a lot of traveling all over at this point already, I'm assuming. You've been to different states and different places in the world. With the vlogging part of it, where have you gone? Have you been outside the States?
Yes, we spent 18 days in Europe last September, and we went to 9 different countries.
Oh, wow.
My favorite
days? Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, we were moving. That's true. And now the countries are so close. I mean, we were in Italy, and we went to Austria, Slovenia, and Croatia. And so they're just all right there.
Yeah, it's nice. That's nice.
And Croatia is definitely, I think, my number one so far in Europe. When I lived in Germany when I was in the Air Force for 3 years, and in that time I visited 17 countries, and so I'm fairly familiar with Europe. But Croatia was it was like a hidden gem. Now I'm sure there's other places like Greece and places I haven't been yet that are going to trump it, but right now Croatia was pretty amazing.
How long were you in Germany?
3 years.
3 years? Du sprichst Deutsch?
Ein bisschen.
Ja, ich auch. Ein bisschen. Sehr bisschen.
Ein bisschen Deutsch.
Hey, let me get my Google Translate out here. Can you repeat that?
Hey, man, that was as obvious as possible because we basically repeated each other. Obviously, we said very little.
Yeah, I got that part. Yeah.
Ein bisschen. Sehr bisschen. Very little.
Yeah, when people ask me if I speak Spanish, I'd say, oh, muy poquito. So I get it. Yeah.
See, I wouldn't. I don't think I would get that if you just said it. But if 2 people said it and the other one repeated, I would think he's probably saying very little. I can understand it. If you said it in French, I'd understand. Un petit. Un petit.
How many languages do you speak?
Uno.
Or attempt to. Okay.
1.5.
Not even dos. Not even dos.
Same.
No zwei, no dos, no how do you say it? Japanese knee.
Yeah. Hey, you're ahead of 90% of the people.
You know what? I've been trying to learn German for 5 years. It's not working out. I keep getting distracted, and then I get away from it.
Yeah.
So I honestly, if I traveled, I would love to actually spend at least 5 days or more in each location just because I would seriously want to start to learn some of the languages of places I went.
Not enough
Because
time.
I love languages. Sorry?
There not enough time. I mean, I was there 3 years, and I had
Yeah.
a German landlord that wanted to only speak German just to help me learn it, and I learned enough to be dangerous, and I mean, that's
Yeah.
all gone, you know?
Yeah, well, you know what? If it's not a passion to learn it, you're not gonna keep it. It's
Yeah.
a different thing.
As long as you don't have anybody start ripping his shirt off. You said what to me?
I know.
That would be bad. Oh, run. That's funny.
Oh,
well, yeah, I know what you're talking about Europe. My son loves Prague. Of course, he visited when he was stationed in Italy. He was there 5 years. He was a lucky SOB. Went into boot camp, got his assignment. He gave his list of here's my top 5 places. He got his number 1 pick in Naples, Italy, and was a land-based job assignment for 5 years in the Navy.
Wow.
He never even he stepped foot on an aircraft carrier or a boat one time because I had to do this like little tour of it. And I'm like, dude, you have no idea how lucky he traveled like 23 countries. And yeah, I mean,
that's crazy.
Little brat. So he's definitely the traveled man. And I'm really looking forward to, we're going to hit England, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany, and of course, head back home. So I mean, literally in 7 days, 5 countries. So
you're gonna have a blast. That was the devil that's inside you, I think. But
I've already told him he has to do pictures and video. I want to see this stuff. I know you said something about. Well, I'm not going to be doing a lot of vlog. You got to vlog something, man. Come on.
No. I said I wasn't going to be doing a lot of vlogging when my wife and I go to Barbados in 2 weeks.
Oh, well, no, of course not. That's personal stuff with your wife.
I'll be I'll be doing some travel stuff, but when I'm in Barbados, most of that trip's probably just going to be drinking dirty bananas.
Yeah, no, listen, I would if I got to go to Barbados, I wouldn't vlog anything. If I got to go to Las Vegas, I wouldn't vlog anything. But if I went to Tahiti, I would probably vlog the hell out of it because that's the number 1 on my bucket list is Tahiti.
Well, you got to get working on your bucket list, man. You got to.
I agree. First on my bucket list. I mean, number 1 on my bucket list is Tahiti, but first on my bucket list is just get the hell out of the city once in a while.
Do it.
I gotta get out there, and I like your enthusiasm. It's motivational. It's just like, oh, you're having so much fun. You get a certain age in your life, and you want to enjoy everything in that part. Going forward, while you can still run around and jump around, you want to be able to do that and have fun doing it wherever you want.
And you guys know it just as I do. I consider myself halfway through my life. I'm shooting to 100. That's my goal. All right. So I'm 49. I'm about to be 50, and life moves way too fast at this age.
Tell me about it. I'm going to be 60 in less than a year. So
yeah, and if you don't seize it, and I got a 7-year-old, so I'm kind of still a kid at heart. I like to just mess around and play, and I think that's a big piece of staying alive and really just embracing life. And just go do, man. Any chance you get, even if it's the town next door. That's kind of the message I'm trying to relay. Is
I like that.
There's things around you.
Even if it's the town next door, get moving. You start to get more motivation, and you end up wanting to go further and to other places. That makes a lot of sense. I've done that before, where I've gone here and I've gone, you know what? Next week I'm going to go further. I've done that before, and I kind of like when you say you have to seize it. It just suddenly makes something pop into my head that makes a lot of sense. If you don't seize it, it might seize up.
Yes, exactly.
So we should use that expression.
Figure eights.
What?
I said, and then eventually be running figure eights to the Sequoias.
That's right.
Yeah, that was great. I love how you get your son involved. That's pretty awesome.
That's my other bucket list place, by the way. One of the others is that has been since I was a child, though. I've always wanted to see that. Incredible place. Even more so than I want to see Yosemite, which you would think Yosemite would be number 1 on my list, like most people, but it's not.
That's the irony. Yosemite is more about hiking They got the sequoias there, but Sequoia National Park really is, I mean, just you
It's
stop off
the
the
place.
it's there.
Yeah.
It's just you go out and
Yeah.
you
Well,
wander.
but the thing about Yosemite is that, you want to see one thing versus another thing. You'd be looking at a lot of travel and a lot of waiting behind somebody else who's stupidly trying to feed bears and chase moose down with a camera. Every year, there's videos on the internet of idiots going, "Why is that buffalo coming after my mother? Because she got out of the car."
Yeah,
wait a minute.
the Darwin Award.
Jesse, what was your idea? You talked about dumb people.
Oh yeah, so
there you go. See, chasing mooses in Yosemite is a dumb thing to do.
Yeah, you're an idiot. It's out there.
100%. I will tell you one thing. We obviously have moose in Canada, and depending on where you go in Canada, you may see them more or less in some places. People in Canada don't get out of their damn cars to see the moose. We know better. We know, but in all fairness, most Americans don't either. It's just those few idiot tourists who may be from other parts of America, maybe from Canada, maybe from Europe, and they just say, "Oh my God, a moose or a buffalo or a bison," or they're all dangerous. They're wild animals. They weigh thousands of pounds. Some of them can kill a grizzly bear, for crying out loud. A moose could theoretically kill a grizzly bear. I ain't touching one. I ain't getting here.
Telephoto lens.
Yes. But that said, I did one time, and in my defense, I was a stupid young person.
Y'all were.
I was hitchhiking. Dumb enough itself. But that was back in the day when people actually did that.
Yeah, it was normal.
Didn't disappear. And we saw a moose. And he stopped. He says, "You want to take a picture?" Because he knew I had a camera. The guy was giving me a ride. And I said, yeah, I want to take a picture. I got out of the car. The moose was as close to me at one point as the TV as I'm looking at, which just say is a little further than the camera. And I just kept getting closer to it. And it turned and it went into the bush. Horns, 12 feet wide, whatever it is, maybe more. I don't know. Antlers, rather, not horns. And it went into this thick bush, did not break a single branch. And the only thing I could think of was when it did that is it had so much grace and poise in deciding it wanted to leave instead of kill me, that had it decided to turn and kill me, the fact that it could walk into those bushes without breaking a branch, it could have easily picked which side of its antlers it wanted to use to kill me.
Yes, easily. And
not miss. And I was like, I got back in the car and the guy said, "You're an idiot." And I said, "Yes, I do." So, and to make matters worse, I lost the damn film. I never even got to get it developed.
That's terrible.
So listen, I was lucky. Don't do that, people. If you're watching, keep your distance. Telephoto lens. If you don't got one, just look from a distance.
Hey, every phone's got a telephoto lens on it now these days. Jeez.
Oh yeah, and some of them aren't as good as others. They don't have 10 times zoom or 5 times and then maybe 2 times zoom on top of that to get a half decent picture. Get a blurry one. So what? If you need to get it closer, get a blur, or take the picture from further away and crop it in. It's better to have that, and then your children can still see you later.
Yeah, for real.
Or your mother or your grandfather or whatever. But that's our public safety announcement for today.
PSA. Well, I want to be respectful of your time. We're a little over an hour. So it's been a really awesome having you on, and some great stories. And I look forward to following your blog as you continue your travels through the States and ultimately Canada eventually, because he's been bugging the shit out of me to get up to Toronto. So eventually I'll be taking a trip to Toronto, probably to go watch a Formula One race or an Indy car or something.
It won't be Formula One. We don't have it here. It's Indy.
I thought they had
Formula One is in Montreal, unless they cancel that. I think they still have it there.
No, they
Vancouver as well, but Vancouver's a little far away.
Yeah. So, so I don't think mine's going to be as good as yours, but I don't have imposter syndrome. I'm not comparing myself, but
you're doing well on your other channels. So obviously you got something going right. And I just appreciate the opportunity to chat with you. You're two very cool guys. And I never would have met you guys if Robert, it weren't for you and reaching out to me. And I thanks for that. One day, Lyon, I would love to meet you in person. And I guarantee you, I will reach out and stay in touch. If we're going to get to Canada and we're in your area, I'll let you know.
Well, that'd be awesome, man. Because obviously when you come to Toronto, there's things you want to see, and I'll be able to tell you what not to bother because you won't be impressed.
Well, I'm going to drag you out.
Going up into the CN Tower, ironically enough, going up into the CN Tower is one of the things, and the only reason why is because until they build that building in Oklahoma, why Oklahoma? I don't know. The very top observation deck in the CN Tower is still taller than anything that you can go into in the United States of America.
Nice.
But that won't be forever. And then the Oklahoma building is going to be taller than that. So yeah, you can actually go up higher in there than you can on top of the One World Trade Center.
All right. Well, I'll expect you to be the tour guide. Come drag you out of the house, and you can walk.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of other great things. I mean, you travel a lot, so you like food. Toronto's.
If you haven't figured it out yet, he talks a lot, so just be prepared for that.
No, that's okay. All right. If we're gonna be like that, then we're gonna get into start talking about hockey and how your team sucks.
Right.
My team's better than your team.
Yes.
Oh,
well, no, I can't do that because actually my team sucks and your team's going to win the Stanley Cup. But we're not going to go there right now. Anyways, honestly, it's been great talking to you. Great having you on the show, and I definitely look forward to talking to you again. And definitely when you get up to Canada, let me know. And as soon as you get into anywhere near Toronto or even Montreal, I can tell you some places or maybe meet up with you. Who knows? Maybe by the time you get here, Robert will have made up his mind, and we can actually all hang out. For a day
have a beer out in the local. What is it? Go get a twofer. But social media.
Maybe not.
Ironically, Lionel and I met on social media when Google Plus was still a thing. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh wow.
We're big Android guys, big tech guys, and we've been on Google Plus for a long time. Of course, Google did its Google thing and disbanded, and we just continued talking elsewhere, and we got to become really good friends. And we've probably known each other. Gosh, it's got to be 15 years now.
Wow.
Awesome. Oh God, it is getting close to that.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Crap, it has been a long time.
Yeah. So I've actually forged a lot of good friendships through online communities. I used to go to a conference every year in Dallas with an Android developer conference, and some really amazing people.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always jealous I couldn't go. I remember about that. Now I forgot about that. Did that die off too?
Oh yeah, because what's his name couldn't do it anymore. He was tired of being the sole person and putting his money out, and I don't blame him.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
But that being said, I've met a lot of amazing people, and it looks like you're going to be turning out to be another one of those amazing people. So I appreciate you coming on and interacting. It's definitely been awesome. So who knows? Maybe we can make this a regular thing. Who knows?
Hey, I'm game. I am. We can always talk tech. We can always talk travel.
Yeah, there's plenty of that.
Yeah, lots of that. I have one last question because it's going to drive me nuts if I don't ask it. Over your right shoulder, what am I looking at?
Yeah, so that is when you leave a unit in the military, oftentimes, especially as an officer, they're going to give you kind of a going away thing. This one is a mock-up of an F-35. It's one of the last aircraft I worked.
Oh,
and our unit was called the Wizards, and so this is actually a Gandalf staff.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say that.
Kind of the mix between military.
In my mind, it's like, okay, Boston, Irish, shillelagh.
Not Irish, no.
That's what was going through my mind. But that's a much, much cooler story. What you just said, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, good deal. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for the opportunity. I can't thank you enough. This has been way more fun than I ever imagined it would be. And like I said, you guys are freaking cool dudes, and I can't wait to stay in touch with you.
I'm glad we're recording that.
We didn't
we can let everybody
video or it didn't happen. No.
and I gotta tell you, I'm gonna publicize your podcast channel because I think you provide value, and I think you guys are entertaining, and so you can count on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
very much. Oh, speaking of which, by the way, we do have to say to everyone else watching, well, listening, it's a little different if you're just listening, but watching, like, subscribe, bell icon.
Yep.
Am I doing that in the right direction?
It is youtube.com at Adventure Family Vlog. So if you're listening on the audio podcast, you can just write that down. Or if you're watching, click the link, go check his stuff out. It's amazing. Great education. You can't go wrong. So
thanks, guys.
Jesse, thanks again. And we're going to sign out. I'm Robert from the US.
Lionel from Toronto, Canada.
All right. I'm Jesse from
Canada. All right. Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.